Hello everybody, this is Fragger here, and it's time for another hot take. This time it's going to be on Heart&Slash. Heart&Slash is a 3D brawler slash roguelike where you run around as a robot named Heart as you try to figure out what the hell is going on. You awaken after a 50-year slumber to find that robots have taken over the world and there are no more humans left. You're in a decrepit and alarm-filled building and things start happening. You bump into a character named Slash who tells you some things that are going on, especially with a certain thing called Quasi, the quality controlled robot. Eventually you learn about what's going on, blah 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 blah. So it took me a little while to get through to the point where I felt comfortable talking about this game because, like any roguelite, be it Binding of Isaac, Nuclear Throne, any of those other kind of games, there's going to be a lot of retrying of the game. You aren't usually going to sit down, beat the game in one go, and be done with it. And Heart&Slash is one of those kind of games. So I wanted to make sure I had a couple of either successful or mildly successful runs under my belt. The one problem that I have with this game is that it feels like the first level is super tight and like damn near perfect of a opening area in a game like this. It has a great progression, you've got plenty of rooms to get items in, the map makes sense, all this other stuff. And then as soon as you get to one of the two second areas, I'll explain that in a second, it kind of starts to fall apart. It kind of picks itself back up in the ending area, but it's kind of hard to say. Now, one thing that I definitely like about this game versus other roguelikes is going to be that there's a definite mission structure. So let's take Binding of Isaac, for instance. One of the big, I would say one of the big forerunners of this genre, or type of game. It's not really a genre, but you know what I mean. What you know you need to do is beat the game. You need to get to Mom, or you need to completely beat the game. That is what you traditionally need to do in the Binding of Isaac. The problem is that other than that, if you just keep failing and failing and failing, like if you're not great at that kind of game, but you kind of like it, like me, it kind of feels like you're just beating your head against the wall constantly. Heart&Slash at least has this structure where inside of the first couple of levels, there are missions where it's like, hey, go bump into Slash, and Slash is going to have you fight him, or you need to go deactivate a force field, or you need to go do this, you need to go do that. You have certain weapons to do this. So across your multiple runs, you're going to bump into other things that you need to do. That allows this game to actually have some legs other than the repeated head beating against the wall. Now, there are some trophies or achievements built into the game where it's about beating a certain amount of enemies, and that unlocks more weapons. So unlike most of these other games where you unlock your extra abilities or weapons through completing it, this is just by playing it. And I kind of like that build-up. The only place where Heart&Slash really fumbles is going to be in the city level. So from my knowledge on where I am in the game, because I've only beaten Quasi once, and I know you need to be at least beat Quasi like 4 or 5 times, is that there is the facility, then there is the city and or the sewer, and then there is the tower. Now, the city is a complete mess in terms of being a level. The game actually has a fully functional map system. And it doesn't do the best, and it's not the worst at being a map. But what it does is it kind of gives you a general idea of where you are, where you need to go, where things are. It also has little icons on there, so you kind of know what you need to do. Now then, once you get into the city, that kind of completely goes away, and you're in these giant areas where they're kind of half-sectioned off, but they're just giant blocks on the map, and all the icons are in the dead fucking center. So for instance, if you're in an area where you need to go talk to Slash, Slash is going to be in the dead center icon on the map, so are everything else you need to do on the map. And that's hella annoying. The other annoying thing in the second area is that the sewer is a part of it. in the map section. So you can always access the sewer as well as the city. But the sewer is correctly segmented, you know where things are, etc., etc., etc. Now, I know a lot of the issues with the top area, with the city itself, has to do with the fact that this is a not procedurally generated, it's modularly generated, kind of like the way all these games are, where they have an idea and it goes, we're going to put, the game goes, I'm going to put this here, 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 and here. The problem is that area, I do not know what I need to do. And I feel like every time when I make it to the city, I feel like whenever I die there, it's not my fault. It's because I don't know what the shit I'm doing. The tower, the sewer, and the facility all feel like it's just I played badly. I got bad rolls. I couldn't mesh with what was given to me. And that's really the only problem that I'm seeing with those areas. Now, the game definitely has a really weird difficulty curve where this is one of those games where the enemies keep getting stronger, but I feel like you kind of plateau at a certain point, and you either have the weapons you're going to need right from the get-go, and you're going to steamroll, or you're not. Now, that's coming from someone who's only beaten Quasi one time, not from someone who has actually beaten the game multiple times. So I can't tell you heads or tails if that's just my personal experience with the game, or if that's how the game is. Now, that could also be a way of saying that my own personal experience is that the game is rough. It's like a rough diamond, is really the way that Heart&Slash is. In the end, I really dig the game. I love a lot of the messages that it has in it. It talks not very subtly, but actually talks about identity. It talks about that a lot. It also talks about, oh my god, why am I blanking on what it actually says with one of the, non-normative. It talks about non-normative. That's what Heart is. And I dig that. I dig that it actually talks about that stuff to a certain extent, which is, I don't see that a lot in in games. I mean, I play a fair amount of indie titles, but this is a game that I played on my PS4, and I'm not used to seeing that. I mean, you could say I'm not playing a lot of games, but you'd be fucking wrong. I play a shit ton of games of all walks of life. Worth mentioning, of course, is Heart&Slash's full trophy set, where it actually does have 49 trophies in total, a full smattering of gold, silvers, and bronze, and of course a platinum. But the game actually has an in-base tracking system, hooray, which actually tells you what you need to do in all of them. When the game was released, it did have a bug where one of the trophies would not unlock, or was actually very difficult to unlock, which was a one about killing a bunch of different cyber dogs. But has since been patched, and apparently people are unlocking their platinums now. On the website that I use to track my trophies, which is PSN Profiles, it has 10 platinum achievers out of the 136 people tracked with this game, which is a decent percentage, which should tell you that the game is going to have a hard platinum, but not necessarily the most difficult. Most of them are about beating a certain amount of enemies, going through the full storyline of the game, mainly dealing with Slash, unlocking all the characters, and doing some difficult things that I myself haven't even done, which is beating Slash in the tutorial, which is fairly fucking difficult. But all in all, trophies do not dissuade me from this game. I am going to platinum the shit out of this game in the future, and I may be coming back again with my full thoughts upon beating the game multiple times. Where it stands right now, if this game were given a little bit of polish, a little bit more polish and whatnot, I would give it a hearty recommendation, saying that everyone needs to play Heart&Slash. But as it stands right now, if you like what you see, you like what I'm kind of saying about the game, and you can kind of see past some of its faults, the game is definitely worth playing. That's what I'm going to say. It's worth playing out of 10. So I'm Fragger, and this has been my hot take on Heart&Slash. See you guys next time.